Ralph, really good to catch up with you. You're Parish Treasurer. Tell us a bit about what that means, Parish Treasurer.
Rod, I thought this was you calling me to talk about the rugby score with England, Scotland. But okay, fine. If you want to talk about being treasurer, that's fine. What do I do being treasurer? The truth is I don't do very much. And that's pretty good news for everybody because university, when I was studying, I also did accounts and I never managed to balance the balance sheet. And you got it wrong if you can't do that. But there is not really one person doing the accounting function or the treasury function in the church. It's a team. I just happen to be the face of that team. But if anything, I'm one of the least important people in it. Jackie does a lot of the number crunching in terms of making sure the systems are up to date, which allows us to have financial information for Rod and for the PCC in a timely manner. Pete has been active forever, for as long as I've been around, as in the treasury team, and it is an amazing asset to it. Clive is in the background doing stuff as well. Clive does some amazing stuff in terms of really quick analysis at the end of the month in terms of giving, which is superb. And then Catherine, when it comes to the big stuff in terms of pulling together reports, in terms of end of year stuff, which can be desperately painful, gets all of that bit done. So as a team, it's incredibly effective, and it allows me to do the bit I'm good at. And I suppose the bit I'm good at is I'm a consumer of financial information more than a creator of financial information. So it allows me to have a picture which I can then interpret for the PCC or interpret for you, or look at things in maybe a slightly longer term.
Oh, wow. So a big team that you're representing. So thank you. Thank you to everyone you've mentioned and to you, obviously. Tell us about why you think giving is an important aspect of the Christian faith.
I think it's core, really. I think giving is so important. At a human level, at a biblical level, all sorts. I'm really struck. I'm reading a book from a friend of mine who analysed the early church, the Acts church, what it was really like. And interestingly, he makes the point that one of the key structures at the early stage was what he calls the love feast. I think it was technically called the love feast. And basically what that means is that everybody brought something to dinner. And initially this was happening every day. And the people who didn't have very much brought not very much. And the people who had a lot brought a lot. And then they shared it and they all got fed. And it just comes down to that biblical perspective of sharing everything. And then if you go all the way back into the Old Testament, where the Jews followed the idea of Jubilee and giving generously, not giving everything, but giving generously according to what they had, things went incredibly well. And I think that as a principle in modern day, kind of where we have other structures to look after society, most of which have got Christians behind them if you go back in time, which is pretty cool. It's the easiest way to share and show our love for one another, and that kind of love gift, that love feast thing, is to give financially and then trust the people we're giving it to, treasurers and the like, that money is then being used wisely.
Of course, that generosity keeps our churches going. We don't get any finance from outside the church. There's no government assistance, so we pay for our entire running ourselves. If somebody was watching this and said, I'd like to start giving to the church, how do they do that?
Yeah, so, we are not a wealthy church by any stretch of the imagination. And I think that although we are not supported externally by other bodies, we are actually, as West Cheltenham, a net receiver of funds from the diocese. So we are very, very blessed by the other churches in Cheltenham who are saying, right, actually, that's an area of Cheltenham probably can't fund everything. So we've got some funding from there. I would love at some point to be able to cover that cost. But in terms of how we can give to the church, I mean, the Gloucestershire diocese have actually led in terms of the Church of England with the thing called the Parish Giving Scheme. And then the diocese do all the admin, which means that people like Clive, Pete, Catherine, Jackie, me, don't have to do that admin, and there's plenty to do already. So with the Parish Giving Scheme, it's now completely online. I think Josh is going to put a link in the notice sheet from now on that is going to have this online link. So if you want to join, if you want to change, and for some people that might be decreasing as well as increasing what they're giving, then just follow that link in the parish newsletter, and please give generously according to your means.
Thanks for that reminder, really important. And, my own testimony is that God has always blessed what we've given to him in so many different ways. And so really would encourage, if anyone's not giving it or could give, would you please sign up for that? Ralph, I know you as a person who's really motivated in terms of getting stuck in. Just tell us a bit about your faith, or perhaps a favourite Bible verse.
My favourite Bible verse is kind of Matthew 25:31 to the end of that chapter, which is where God is kind of interviewing people when they turn up at the pearly gates, and he separates them into the sheep and the goats. And he tells the sheep, when you fed someone, when you clothed someone, when you went to see them in prison, effectively you did that for me. Come in and share my bounty. And then he says to the goats, whenever you ignored those people, you ignored me. Off you go into the darkness. And I know the theology is that if I say I believe in Jesus, then I am saved, and that's great, and it is. But for me, that then can't be all I do. Otherwise, why does that verse exist? It's a bit like the old joke of Jesus is coming, look busy. I would rather be trying to do something and maybe doing too much. I don't know. Maybe my faith is not great enough maybe I should just be relaxing and not working and relying on God's grace, etc., etc. I don't know. My theology isn't strong enough. So in the meantime, I'm more inclined, as you say, to do something, to look busy.
Fantastic. And thank you so much for all the aspects of your work, Treasurer, and your work with Family Space. You're a tremendous encouragement to us all in terms of actually putting faith into action. So, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.